Hello and welcome to Plus 2 Comedy Extra. I know these don't usually come out on Wednesday, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, these usually don't come out at all here. But we're here to talk on a very special day. We're going to talk about net neutrality here on Break the Internet Day. Yes, December 12th is Break the Internet Day, and we're doing this to show our support for net neutrality. So let's talk a little bit about net neutrality. Now, I might not be the best person to do this, so if you haven't already watched it, or if you want to listen to someone a little bit more prestigious than me, John Oliver does a great video about this. You can find this here if you're watching this on YouTube. Links below if you're listening to this on the podcast. He does a great job. Philip DeFranco also does a great job. I'll provide that as well. Basically, this is the breakdown for net neutrality, okay? I want you to think of the internet as a utility, okay? Not like Monopoly style. Like, think of it as electricity. Electricity is a fair utility. The electric company can't decide to have a deal with, let's say, Samsung and say, okay, if you have a Samsung TV, the electricity going to the Samsung TV will cost less than those that have other TVs, like a Panasonic. That wouldn't be fair. Everything is equal going in. That's what net neutrality does. It allows everything to stay equal. If we lose net neutrality, things will no longer be equal. I went to a protest outside of Verizon, and here's a picture. Yay. And at this protest, the best way we found to explain this to people was to compare it to EA. So EA had Battlefield come out, and there was a bunch of paywalls that were basically up. If you wanted Luke Skywalker, if you wanted Darth Vader, you had to pay extra for them, okay? Now imagine that exact thing, except instead of EA and Battlefront, it's the internet. And instead of Luke Skywalker, it's Facebook. If net neutrality falls, companies like Comcast, Time Warner, Verizon, AT&T can decide to put Facebook behind a paywall and basically tell you, hey, you're free to use the internet, for your usual fee, but Facebook now costs an extra $9.99 a month. That would be unbelievably difficult and frustrating. That's a thing that can happen if we lose net neutrality. Net neutrality is what is keeping things fair. Now, a lot of people will say that the companies are saying that, good things will come out of net neutrality falling. Some people have talked about, Netflix will run faster, or Pokemon Go will be free. Ooh, won't use any of your data. There's some major issues with this. First, look at me. I'm an independent creator. I make these videos on YouTube, and I make a podcast that has been running for over 200 episodes. Now, let's say that these companies decide that there's now going to be a deal, I use that term loosely, where podcasting now costs an extra $9.99 a month. So I'm going to lose part of my audience, because part of my audience is not going to pay $9.99 a month to listen to me. I love you guys, but you're not. Let's be real. You're not going to do that for me. And that's fine. I'm not upset. Don't do that. That'd be insane. But they could basically put that on all podcasts and basically say, hey, podcast streaming, that's expensive. $9.99 a month. Then they can go further and say, well, these podcasts have paid us a little bit extra. They've basically paid your fee for you. So podcasts like, let's say, Nerdist and The Adventure Zone, they've already paid your fee for you. So they're not going to cost extra. On the surface, that kind of sounds good. I mean, they're still screwing you because you can't reach things, but at least the things you care about are still free, so this isn't going to affect me. But as an independent creator, I'm now stuck behind this wall that I'm not making any money from, and you can't reach me. So any new podcast that comes out is stuck behind this wall. There's something cool that you can't see, and you'll never even know exists, because it's stuck behind this wall because a cable company decided that's where it belongs. And podcasting is something very important to me. I am a mod for our podcasts. Plug! So be sure to subscribe to that and talk to me about podcasts, and I appreciate it. And one of the things I love about being a mod of our podcast is I actually spend a lot of time listening to our community's podcasts. Every week we have a thread where you can post your new episode, and I spend a lot of time just going through and listening to these new things. And in doing so, I've discovered a lot of new podcasts I enjoy. Otters Talking Politics, Goofs and Goblins, She's in Russia, Strange Path, The Story Cauldron, How It Obviously Ends, Roll with Advantage, and many, many more that I've taken the time to listen to and get to know. And there's too many for me to really dive into any one of them, but each one has something special about it that I really enjoy. And through the power of the internet, I found all these things. And that's something that I can now bring to you guys through the internet, and it's something that we are all free to do, to create, to find, to enjoy. And that's something that we really need to protect. Some people may argue that, of course, Comcast won't do this. That, it's evil. They're talking about how they support net neutrality, and even if it falls, they won't do such horrible things. So I'm going to play a little game with you, if you've heard this, okay? If you're a fan of me, and you're a fan of Plus 2 comedy, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're not the biggest football fan. Even if you are, you can still play. But you're probably not a big sportsman. Now, let's say I present you with a button. Ooh. Now, all you have to do, if you want, press that button, and every time someone scores a touchdown, you'll be given $500. Would you press that button? Every time someone scores an NFL touchdown, you can't go play like a pickup game, but anytime someone scores an NFL touchdown, you'll get $500. Would you press that button? Most of you are probably banging on your screen right now pressing that button. I would press it too. Now, after you press the button, you discover the repercussions of this. All the football fans are the ones that are being charged. Basically, pushing that button has created a new fee that winning teams should cost more because they're more enjoyable to watch because they win. So losing teams don't have to pay as much, and then winning teams, they pay a little bit more because it's more enjoyable. This is a new phenomenon for Eagles fans. They're like, now we've decided to start winning, and it's so expensive. So imagine that's happening, and you have all these people, all these football fans that are basically saying, hey, what are you doing? You're taking our money. This is a thing that we used to enjoy, and it used to be for everybody, and now it's more expensive to win? I'm actually cheering against my team. It's like, all right, you're winning by 14. That's enough. Do you care? Now, some of you out there will care. Some of you out there would be like, oh, I made a horrible mistake. I will unpress the button now. But if you're not a football fan, you've never cared about football, or even you hate football, do these concerns really bother you? They should, because they're people still. But if they don't, I don't blame you. So if it's a big company like Comcast, why would they care about the Plus 2 Comedy podcast? Why would they care about Let's Play videos from Markiplier or the Game Grumps? Why would they care about people analyzing YouTube like Nightmine or Nightmare Masterclass? Why would they care? I don't have a good reason for them to, other than it's common decency to care about another person and let them enjoy the things they want. But if they can put a price on it, why wouldn't they? So this is why we need to stop this from happening. The vote will happen on the 14th of December. That's less than a week away. So we need to make as much noise as possible right now to make sure they don't vote to repeal net neutrality, because they have every reason to want to. They are going to profit greatly if this does. We, as the community that is supposed to be represented by Congress, need to make sure our voices are heard. So, what can we do? Well, I am a big component of battleforthenet.com. There's a lot of great information there. Basically, the first thing you see when you go to battleforthenet.com is you will see basically a form that you could just fill in or just send the script that they have there, and that'll go directly to your congressman. Do that. It'll also tell you who you can call. It'll tell you who your congressman is, how to call them, and make your voice be heard. Now, you might even be thinking, well, I'm under 18. What can I do? I can't even vote. They are there to represent you. Just because you don't vote doesn't mean that you should be a non-entity to them. They were elected to represent your area, and you live in that area. So they represent you. So they should make sure that they listen to your voice. So give them a call, send them an email. I've called. I talked to a very nice woman who was clearly fed up of hearing people call and complain about this. But I made it personal. I told them my reasonings and how important the internet is to me personally. And I got an email back basically from my congressman saying that he supports net neutrality. And that is what I needed to hear. Also, on this website, you can see who does support net neutrality, who doesn't support net neutrality, and who hasn't said anything. And that's worst of all. They have no right as your congressman to hide their agenda. They were elected by your community to represent you. So it shouldn't be a secret about how they feel about things. So if they're not saying anything, pressure them to say something. You can find their Twitters and you can tweet at them. I have. You can call their office. You can send emails. They need to speak up. Because right now the worst thing that can happen is silence. I know that net neutrality has probably been punched into you for the last 3 weeks. And you probably feel like, all right, so everything's been done. It's got to be handled. It's everywhere. But it's everywhere in our communities because we're the ones who care. The people who need to hear this aren't Redditors. They're not YouTubers and they're not podcasters. So this is why you need to reach out to them. So please, I beg of you, do this. Also, today is Break the Internet Day. So let's break the internet. I'm making videos. I'm making podcasts. I'm going to direct everyone from my Facebook page to go to battleforthenet.com. I'm going to just be punching this over and over and over again all day today. Yay! There's things I wanted to do. So what I recommend you do is if you have an audience, if you have someone that listens to you, heck, I'm sure you got Twitter followers, right? You got friends on Facebook. Slam them. Let them know how important this is. A simple retweet will be helpful. I recommend you make a phone call. Don't just retweet and be like, I've done my duty. No. But retweet. Do it. Do it again. Do it more. Just keep going. We need to get this as big as possible. And be creative with it. For example, I'll be streaming on Twitch today, that's December 12th, at around 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be doing a lag cast. Basically, I'll be playing a video game with intense lag, as if Comcast has decided to slow down video games. And it'll be frustrating, and I will be angry. But, hey, maybe I'll get some viewers, and I can inform some people about net neutrality and doing something. That's what we need to do. We need to do something, and we need to inspire others to do something as well. We do not have much time. And come Friday, the landscape of the internet could change forever. So please, don't put this off. Don't think, oh, here's another net neutrality thing. It's the net neutrality thing. It's the thing that makes the internet the internet. So don't let that go to waste. Please, go to battleforthenet.com. Go to GoFCC yourself. Thanks, John Oliver. And make your voice heard. This is all we can do. And I don't want to get to a point where I'm sitting staring at a screen as it struggles to load something that I love and think, I really wish I had done more. So please, share this video if you liked it, which I appreciate it. But call your congressman. Send emails. send tweets, break the internet today, and together we can save net neutrality. I know I'm usually funny, or at least I try. I know I usually try to be funny, at least, but that isn't going to get the job done today. If I can be serious now, hopefully by Friday, I can still be funny on the internet. Try to be funny on the internet. Thank you so much for watching. We got work to do.